Hello everyone, Onlydraven here again, and thank you very much for tuning in this week. This week we're going to discuss the week in review, do our weekly check-in, and we're going to kind of talk about catalysts, things that inspire us, motivate us, things that kind of kick our ass into gear and get us where we want to be. Sometimes those are things that at first seem very, very bad or negative, but then end up being a blessing in disguise. So we're going to kind of cover a little bit of those type of things today, but we're going to start off by going into our weekly review. And before I do, thank you again everyone who's been watching every week, been liking, subscribing, watching my videos. Those of you who've been sharing them to your own pages and social media groups, and to your support groups. I keep getting some feedback that you've been sharing some of the information I've been giving, as well as my videos with people in your support groups. So I thank you very much for that. It's very flattering. It's good to think that you like my content enough you think other people would benefit from it as well. It's the main reason I'm doing this, besides keeping my own self motivated. So I really do appreciate that interaction and all of the feedback I've been getting. So thank you very much for that. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the weekly review. So we got a few things we're going to talk about this week. So in this week's weekly review, I'm just going to talk about a small change that I'm happy about. You probably haven't noticed yet, but I'm going to mention it. And then we'll also talk about just our numbers. So we'll start right off by going into our numbers, which is kind of where we always go, how the week went as per weight loss. I had a very good week this week, I feel personally. Actually down 2 more pounds this week. So that puts me down a total of 221 pounds. And I am currently weighing in at 210. So as you can see, the second number was much smaller than the first number. So it's always good to get myself further and further from that big number. You know, I like being able to say I'm less than half the size I was. I am at this point 10 pounds away from 200. The thought of being under 200 is just odd. It's hard to even conceive of it. When this whole process started, my original goal weight was to get to 200 before my nutritionist and I kind of settled on 190. So it's odd to think that I only have 20 more pounds to go, which in the grand scheme of what I've lost is really not much at all. And it's also odd to think that I'm going to be under 200 pounds. To see 1 at the beginning of that number and not just the end is going to be an interesting feeling, and very, very exciting to get to that. So, good week, like I said down there. Diet-wise, when it came to the food, I did not change much this week. I did cook a ham dinner for my family. Had no problem with the ham. There were some good deals on, so I picked one up. Excuse me. And so, ham wraps, ham sandwiches using the high-protein, low-carb bread that I eat, which is a Nature's Own brand. If you haven't tried that, it's pretty good. Texture-wise, can be just if you're toasting it, it's not bad. But if you're using it bread, sometimes feel a little bit dense texture, but the flavor and everything is really, really good, and it definitely provides the bread that you're looking for. But I did that a lot, and then when it came to the wraps and the tortilla shells that I use, I've talked about those a lot. This week I did a little bit of turkey pepperoni, low-fat cheese, and a light pizza sauce that I found. So instead of doing it as a quesadilla, I just did it as a wrap, warmed it up in the microwave so the cheese and the sauce were warm and melted. And that was really, really tasty. And then doing it as a wrap, I'm using 1 tortilla instead of 2 like I would on a quesadilla. So that, excuse me, definitely cuts down again on the level of carbs and such that I'm intaking from the bread-like substance that I'm eating. So anytime I can eliminate carbs in one area, gives me more room to have carbs somewhere else, or just eliminates them completely. So anytime I can cut it down from 2 tortillas to 1 or 2 pieces of bread to 1, I'm definitely going to do that. But those are really good, and I tried those, and the little pizza wraps basically were nice, give you that little pizza taste that I miss, because pizza still to this day is probably the one thing that I miss eating the most. I was a big guy. I was a big pizza eater for a very long time. I've worked for like 13 pizza places in my life in one facet or another, from delivering to cooking to serving. And so pizza has always been an active part of my life. My dad also delivered pizza a lot. It's kind of how I got into it. I used to ride around with him when he delivered for a pizza place, and then they started saying, hey, we'll give you pizza if you come in and wash the dishes. And I do that, and then they finally just offered me a job. And that was my first real full job at age 15, was working at a Pizza Hut. So, which was awesome. You know, I was back in Canada. I did that for several months, but it was a great experience. And once you learn how to make pizza at a pizza place, you can pretty much make a pizza at any pizza place. So it was easy if we relocated to find another pizza place that was hiring and just go there. Until I got older, and then I just delivered and such, which less hassle, more money anyways, if the tips are decent. So pizza, anytime I can reinsert a pizza-like flavor into my diet, I'm definitely going to try to do that, because that way I don't have that longing for pizza, because I'm still getting the basic flavors. And I used to eat those real good pizzas I talked about, ones with the chicken crust. Here's a picture of one. They're really good, and they have 6 different flavors. There's a breakfast one, they have scrambled eggs on it. There's 3 different flavors of that. So those are all really good. Incredibly low carb, incredibly high protein, very tasty, and give you that pizza flavor you're looking for. But diet-wise, nothing else really changed much in that regard. The only other thing that kind of changed this week, and it literally changed 30 minutes ago because I just got home from picking them up, is I finally got my new glasses. I checked about 2 weeks ago, and because I got transitionals and anti-glare and all that stuff, it took a little bit longer for mine to come in. My wife's were in about a week ago. But I went and picked those up, and it is awesome having a pair of glasses that fit again. My glasses that I just stopped wearing, I've probably had 3 years at this point. So when I got them, I had to get extra wide because I had fat ass head that I've been dealing with for years. And losing weight, it never crossed my mind that my head was going to shrink. You know, I never really thought of that I would lose really size. I felt I'd lose it here, but I just never really thought I would lose fat on the sides and back of my head. You know, obviously you would, but I just didn't cross my mind. So the glasses I've been wearing for years, I mean, just looking down, were constantly falling off. Even during these videos, you probably noticed I'm constantly pushing up my glasses, which I'll probably still do a little while because I'm just used to doing it. But I was constantly having them fall off, and they were just loose, and they just didn't fit right. And so I went and was able to get a new pair of glasses, and these ones fit incredibly well. I can wiggle my head around and they don't fall off. They're snug. They are a little bit stronger in prescription, so I'm getting used to that. Looking forward is fine, but if I look down, it's like I feel a little taller, like the ground's a little further away, so a little bit of vertigo there. So probably take a few days to adjust to that. It's happened before. But it's just another one of those awesome perks of losing weight. I don't know. I haven't really looked at them much on me yet, so I don't know if they look better or they look worse or not. Thinning or fattening. Now that they're smaller, I have a feeling like my head will look bigger because my glasses are smaller. But it's still nice to have something that's comfortable, that is not irritating, it's not loose and wobbling around, and not have to worry about falling off and breaking. So that was a nice perk, and I'm happy to have them. But really, that's pretty much it for our weekly check-in this week. I did not have a whole lot of exciting stuff change or go on. I'm probably going to have some big stuff hopefully to talk about next week. I'd hope to talk about this week, but I can't yet, so I will hopefully talk about those next week. But there'll be some upcoming big changes in my life that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm going to share those with you guys next Friday. But with that being said, we'll move into our last segment and just talk about a couple of different concepts and thoughts and such that I've had over the past week about motivation and catalysts and small miracles. So in this segment, I just kind of want to talk about some things that I guess I've been thinking about lately, things that have come up in conversations or in topics of my life, and that, upon consideration, just became kind of big things that I wanted to kind of just get off and talk with folks. So the fact that I've had the weight loss surgery and changed my entire lifestyle to match that with the eating and the exercising and just the way I have to live now is, of course, probably the biggest change that I've had in my life over the last several years. I've switched jobs, I've got married in the last few years, but to be honest, a lot of those things didn't drastically alter the way I lived my life. I was just doing some things different, but the majority of my life stayed the same. But bariatric surgery changed the vast majority of how I exist at this point. And because of that, because of its importance on my life, it's definitely a conversation that comes up a lot. it's something that comes up in conversation. When I got my new glasses today, someone's like, wow, these glasses look way smaller than those ones. I'm like, well, those ones, I lost a lot of weight. Really? How much weight have you lost? Blah, 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 blah. Conversation continues. Oh, I know someone who had surgery. I've considered surgery. It's something that comes out a lot. I'm sitting in the lunchroom at work, someone I'm talking to for the first time, and they're like, I've seen you before. You look like you've lost a lot of weight. Well, yeah, I had weight loss surgery, and I've lost a lot of weight. How much have you lost? Da, 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 da. Conversation continues. So it's something that comes up a lot. Majority of the time, I'm not the one that brings it up. But I do sometimes because it's part of the conversation or it's pertinent to the topic we're discussing. I try not to just random people like, hey, by the way, did you know I lost a lot of weight? I'm not trying to brag by any means, but it is an important part of my life, and so it comes up a lot. And with it coming up a lot, I get a lot of questions about it. What made you decide to do it? What were the hard parts? And a lot of those things I've talked about on these videos in the past, but some of them come up more often than others, so I'm going to kind of just talk about those and how they affected me, because one of the big conversations is, oh wow, what got you started on there? What made you make that decision? And as I've discussed in the past, because several years ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, I almost had a stroke. I was in the hospital. They had to crash me back down. I was right at the point of having one. And that was a really low point for me. It was a negative point. And that's what kind of got this entire process starting. I tried to diet myself, failed miserably, went to the doctor, he pointed me this direction. Everything's been awesome since. And so what I guess I'm trying to get to at this point is what gets you to the point of being able to make a major change in your life is different for everyone. But there has to be that catalyst. There has to be that point, which I like to refer to as my fat moment. That moment when I realized this is where I'm at, this is what I've let myself become, and then you have to make a decision. Do I want to fix this? Because at this point, for many people, this is the last chance you've got. You've reached that point. Am I willing to do what it takes to fix this problem? And if the answer is yes, you start on that path, you've got a good chance of succeeding. If the answer is no, I'm not willing to do anything and everything, I'm not willing to give up anything to make this happen, then you're not ready yet. It's not going to happen for you. You may have see some success, but it's going to just go back to the way it was. You have to be willing to give up anything in order sometimes to get what you want the most. Nobody gets everything. You can't have everything in your life you want. Nobody does. With probably a couple minor exceptions, but the vast majority of us do not get everything we've always wanted in our lives. And so you have to pick and choose your battles. You have to choose which goals are more important to you, which achievements are the ones you want to be able to look back on and say, yes, I did this, or at least I did my damn best to get there. You're not going to hit every goal you set for yourself, but the ones that you do not meet, those goals that maybe you feel you failed, do not have to be a negative. They can be a catalyst to spur you on to potentially an even better goal or an even better achievement. Learning from those mistakes and moving forward. But if you are trying to lose weight without a surgery or without a diet plan, you're just trying to exercise, lose weight, will you fail? No, of course not. A lot of people succeed from that. But if you fail, if it does not work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't do it the right way. It just may mean you were not ready yet. Because I know people, I see people, I hear people all the time say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I want to lose this weight. But I'm not ready to give up soda. But I can't give up my coffee. I still want to have my cheat meal every 2 weeks. I still want to be able to go out and eat it. You're not ready. You can't do it. It's not going to work for you. You can't half-ass this. You know? Some people, when you're at a certain weight, and maybe you just got to lose a few pounds, you got to get a little bit better in shape, sure, that's different. That's a small goal. If you are drastically overweight, and you have a long history or a lifetime of poor decisions when it comes to health and nutrition, you can't half-ass it to get it to succeed. Those habits and those poor instincts are always going to pull you back. You can't be like, yes, I'm going to do this awesome thing and be hardcore 5 out of 7 days a week and the other 2 days a week eat whatever the fuck I want. It's not going to happen for you. Again, we are addicts, just like a drug addict. You can't have 5 days of not taking drugs and 2 days of having drugs and say eventually I'm going to get off of it. It's not going to work that way. You can't still have that cheat day. Heroin addicts don't get to have a cheat day. You either give it up or you're still a heroin addict. It's the same for food. I give it up completely, or else I'm still a fat eater. I'm still eating unhealthy. I'm still not succeeding in what I'm working for. So my catalyst, my big one, was that partial stroke, or the almost full stroke thing that happened, which I never quite classified. Was it a stroke, a pre-stroke, a half stroke? It was not a full stroke. That's all I know for sure. But it was pre at the beginnings of I'm right there. So I don't know exactly what that's classified of. But that was my big catalyst. I was phase 1. Phase 2 is where I tried to diet myself, tried to have my cheat day, tried to do it without structure, and then 6 months later walked into the doctor weighing 10 more pounds than I did when I had the partial stroke, whatever the hell it was. I couldn't do it on my own, and half-assing it wasn't working. And so I made the commitment that this time I was going to do it right, and that there was absolutely nothing that I wasn't willing to give up in order to make that succeed. And I took that very seriously. I have not had a potato or a rice of any kind in over a year. Not a single bite. I've had many opportunities. I could reach in and grab a French fry off my wife's plate. Just get that one French fry, you know. There are many opportunities I've had around Halloween. Bags of candy in this house to give away to kids and for my friends when they came over for my Halloween game night. Bags of candy just all over the place. I could have had just one, said, I'm going to get my one taste. I need that one taste, but I didn't. I eliminated it completely. I know that I can't half-ass it. I've got to go all the way. And so I eliminated all of the things that I shouldn't have. And again, what those things were definitely provided to me by my nutritionist and my doctor's office. They gave me the guidance and the structure I needed, saying this is what you should eat, this is what you should not eat, here are your parameters that you need to stay within. And I gave up pizza, I gave up cheeseburgers, I gave up pretty much all Asian food at this point, which I loved, Chinese food specifically. I gave up all of that stuff. Now, for those of you who want to jump on real quick and say, oh, but there's healthy versions of ways you can make that. Yes, and I'm not saying I'm against that. I'm saying traditionally. The traditional pick it up at the place and eat it. The traditional versions of these things I do not eat. Could I today probably eat a piece of pizza and be fine? Yes. I probably could eat a piece of pizza. It would not throw off my diet. I could then continue on with my diet if I stay on track. But I don't know if I can. I don't know if having that one piece is just going to open the door, release the floodgates, I'm going to go back to eating the same nasty shit that put me in the disgusting physical shape that I was in when I started this process. And I'm not willing to take that chance. I'm not willing to half-ass this. I'm willing to give that up permanently to make sure that I succeed. And so this is me. This is how I'm doing it. I have had a lot of success here. I am now just a smidge over 13 months out of this process. And at 13 months out of this process, I have lost 221 pounds. And with 221 pounds down in a little over a year, that's a lot of success. And I attribute that success from going all the way and not barring myself, not limiting myself to a day of cheat, a sneak of this, a bite of that. I completely cut those things out. And other people may not need to do that. You may be one of those people that can still do those things. I know that I'm not. And if you're struggling, if you're trying a diet and you find it's not working, or you're yo-yoing, it's working, it's not working, it's working, it's not working, it's because you're not going all the way. You're not fully committing to this goal, and until you do, it's not going to succeed. This is my soapbox for the week, okay? And I know that I'm up on it here, but a lot of people I talk to are like, oh, I've been struggling with it for years. I struggled with it for years too. And I struggled because I wasn't willing to make that commitment and was not willing to make that sacrifice. So if you're looking at seriously losing weight, getting in shape, getting healthy, especially if you're considering bariatric surgery as your tool to get that to happen, you have to make sure that you are willing to make that sacrifice, not temporarily, but permanently? And if the answer to that is no, then you're just not ready yet. I'm not saying you can't diet, you can't lose weight, but a permanent achievement is going to be much, much harder for you. And for many people, it's going to be completely out of reach. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump off my soapbox this week. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that because it's something that came up not once, but twice this week with someone that has been struggling. And they recommended that I should talk about this week, so I decided to do so. So, if you have any questions, or you have any feedback, feel free to put it in the comments of this video, or feel free to, reach out to me on my website, www.onlydraven.com. There's a submission form in the bottom. You can send me emails. You can do it randomly if you like. You can put your own name in there. It's whatever you like. And I'm always happy to get back with you. Next week, like I said, hopefully you're going to have some big news to share with everybody. So definitely tune in for that. And thank you again, everyone, for watching this week. Have a good week.